All right. Hello and welcome to the Raven's Nest, session 25. Before we continue on our story, let's check in with our players and see how each of their weeks were. Raven, since we spoke to you last night, how was your day?
I had my Fauci ouchie today, or they call it the vaccine, Um, but a little bit of an odd experience. Kind of passed out after getting my vaccine, apparently, and had nurses kind of
Yeah,
move
but
me
say
to an area.
why.
That was I didn't eat before my vaccine, and I guess my blood sugar dropped, and I blacked out. So that was fun. Um, but other than that, today was okay.
Rixian, how was your past few days?
Um, Pretty good. I reconciled with a best friend, and now we're dating again, so that's cool.
Nice.
Nice. That seems like that's really good news.
Yeah, it is.
A little bit of cheer in the voice. Accrue, how was
Mhm.
your week?
Oh, I had a great week, thank you. Proposed to my girlfriend and she said yes,
Damn.
so that's a plus.
Nice.
I know you wanted to top my news, but you didn't have to go that far.
Hey, that's what happened during the week, man. Sorry. Didn't mean to one up you.
Well then, dang, it sounds like everyone had a good week.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. And
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sure that you will have a lot on your plate soon. Plan, all that sort of things. All those sort of things.
Yeah,
Congrats, dude.
thank you.
Well, with that wonderful news from each of you, how about we get into our recap? It was a bit more accomplished than, to be fair, I kind of thought we were going to accomplish. I thought we would get a little bit more stuck on the second trial, but you all figured it out pretty quickly. But the floor is yours for the recap.
Um, well, we resumed the fight with the two dragons. Uh, we guessed that Pandora disappeared in a shimmer of silver light, and that she teleported back to her burned down village with no memories of anything that happened. And we continued to fight, and as expected, everyone went down, but we at least took down one of them. Um, so we all fell unconscious and had a moment with each of our gods, uh, Nima, Vader, and someone else. And then we all woke up in a puff of golden mist, and we learned that we had powers, lightning powers in our eyes, and fire breath. And we took shelter within a cave in the mountains. Uh, and told that we passed the strength test, and now that a day has passed, we decided to answer the intelligence test with uh, Prince Chula, and then they were very impressed with our skills, and so we decided to go up right away towards the mountain for the third trial of will, where Kroot uh, swallowed all of his dwarven pride along with his beard. Uh, Raven gave up his precious memories of family and
Ambition to
Right.
become the guild leader. Yeah.
and his goals. And Rixian just decided to uh, be rid of all of his sight And then we passed, and about to enter this wacky realm portal where I assume something's about to happen, but I'm not quite sure which.
That's pretty good, Rixian.
That was.
It sounded. I don't know if we actually talked about it. I mentioned it as my character that I at least met my specific god, the one that of the mask Ramir from the remains.
That was the third one.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys really mentioned that whether you met your gods or not. But
Yeah, Kroot did meet Vader.
Basically, at least my god told us that we still have our powers regardless of whether or not we have the half halo.
And I think we know that one piece of the remains is safe at some point.
Now we don't really know if it falls into Estuar's hand and he combines the completed halo, that might still be trouble. I don't
Being
know
pulled
if
directly south.
that would like pull our powers from us or what, or if that would do anything or not. But
yeah. But also, Rixian gave up his sight by poking his eyeball out.
it was more stabbing,
the
but
specifics weren't really necessary.
yeah. Yeah, well, you
I
cut your
think
beard
they
off.
are.
Yeah, you cut
I
your beard.
think they are, yeah. Significant.
I made a clip and a post out of that. It was great.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it was.
Now we got a baby-faced dwarf.
Babyface Kroot.
Yeah. Again, that was a fantastic job on the recap. If there's nothing else that you guys would like to throw in, then I will give a bit of a narrative and get us into tonight's game.
I think he covered all the bases.
I like the just little snippets of the summary of how each of us are feeling. Is Kroot is who am I, and Raven is what am I, and Rixian is where am I.
Yeah. Each of you playing a vital role for the what was offered to get in.
Don't worry, we'll be your eyes, Rixian.
Yeah, I because I don't have any right now. I could use some.
While that may be true, let's continue our story with this. Still continuing on, June 15th, year 1101, as the three of you enter the portal and begin to make your way out to the Dragon Plain. The sounds of the thundering wind and the snow begin to just fall behind, seeming to just fall from existence as each of you make your way towards the Dragon Plain. Three suns are noticed off to the west, the orange and red sky mixing perfectly together as it stretches across till meeting the darkness to the east. The grass blue stretches as far as the eye can see till meeting green water that just pours seemingly over the edge of the world. Hundreds of dragons of various colors and silhouettes fly miles off in the distance. Kroot and Raven, each of you notice that each of the dragons that presented the trials flying off, only Duanduis the colorful remains by your sides. Rixian, as beautiful as everything is, unfortunately, with your sight of being unable to see. But as you grow a little bit more used to the vision that you now possess, you'll notice that you are starting to pick up a bit of different shades of gray and black. Stuff having a slight bit more of detail than just the outlines. Well, Dunduis speaks, grabbing each of your attention. I think that you are the only ones to see this beauty since Prince Tula, thousands of years ago.
Yeah, I can see it clearly. It's very marvelous.
No, that we're not as nefarious or evil as he is, though, or was. We actually have good intentions.
Yeah, this we really are on a clock at this point, because when Prince Shula comes back, then it's not going to end well for anyone.
Well, with luck, he'll never return.
This Estelar we speak of, last we heard he was trying to bring him back, although I haven't heard any news of it, so...
And I heard dragons can do amazing things, so that's why I cut my eye out.
Well, we do have a long journey ahead. With each of you. We'll climb aboard. We'll begin to make our way to the kingdom.
It's a quick question. Has anybody else ever passed all 3 tests besides Chula?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm more than fairly certain that it's just been the 4.
Well, I certainly feel special. Anyway,
See what you mean.
You were saying.
Oh.
I'll climb up on the dragon.
And as it bends down, giving you like a little bit of an easier access to climb aboard, Kroot looks towards the rest of you, Raven and Rixian. Oh, if time's the pressing issue, we should move quickly.
I'll hop on. It's a little more comfortable riding on top of it than in a dragon's mouth, don't you say, Kroot?
Yeah.
Let me just get used to my okay surroundings. Yep. All right. Someone reach out so I can grab their hand, please.
Sure. You all right, Rixian?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I have phantom pain of my missing eye, but other than that, this is epic in a grayscale sort of way.
It'll be
Grayscale?
more comforting in time, young one.
Are you gaining new vision?
I don't know if I'll ever call this comforting, but I can live with it. That's all that matters. I just try not to think about it. Soon I'll forget that I'm even blind.
Well, with each of you climbing aboard, Dunduus begins to flap his wings, taking off. He begins to climb up into the sky, heading directly towards the mountain range off to the west that you can see just a bit of a ways off into the distance, and moving directly towards the 3 setting suns as well.
I think your on-stream chat isn't working.
What you mean?
I mean the chat that's on the stream. It isn't showing up.
Oh, in the chat box?
Right, yeah.
I took that down for this one.
Oh. Okay.
But thank you. I ended up, like, just to be, like, clear, like, I kind of messed it up and fucked up the size, so I had to delete it. Because everything looked wonky. But if there's nothing that each of you would like to discuss as you make your way, it is going to be quite a bit of time before making your way there, as Dunduus has indicated.
Does the wind feel nice, Groot?
Can't feel the wind?
I think he means without your beard.
Oh, yeah. Feel naked.
Your chin cold?
Yeah, I'll get used to it.
I
At least my
must.
beard can grow back.
You gonna have icicles coming out your nose?
As you're like making your way, through this, through the sky, flying about, as you make that comment, Groot, Dunduus will like kind of look back. Like, what is it that you mean? Grow it back.
It grows back.
As Dunduus begins to laugh just a bit, then looking back forward, and you just hear him call out, still flying, keeping his eyes, directly where he needs to be going. Little dwarf, that beard will never grow back.
A dwarf, you'll see.
Well,
I think he means when you make a test of will, you commit to it. Because I'm never going to have my vision back.
What did I
See
give
about
up?
that too.
I don't remember what I gave up.
Oh, you gave up.
Inheritance, so to speak.
You gave us something very
Memories.
special, but you don't have to worry about it.
Oh. I don't remember where I came from.
We're hatched.
Ah, an egg.
It's probably not worth remembering.
I think they said they found you while defeating some rocks up in the mountains.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, but again, it's not worth remembering.
Out of character, do I even remember my name? Like,
Yeah.
is that relevant? Okay. Just making sure.
And you remember, like, practically everything that you've done. The only thing you can't recall is Ravenshaw, the Midnight Raven, and your family. But other than that, ever since, like, leaving the city walls, you remember everything else.
Okay.
Like,
I think you wanted to be a full-fledged wizard
Oh,
and
that
change your
makes
sword
sense.
with like very fantastic powers, and you just basically wanted to be very cool.
It seems legit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool too.
You're free to
that's-
be whoever you want, Raven.
Sounds good to me. I mean, I feel like being a cool wizard's what I've been doing for the last while, so I'm glad to continue to do that.
Yeah, just focus on that for now.
Kurt, if you're saying something I can't hear you, but I just see the light.
Oh, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, just making sure. Well, if there's nothing, like as I was saying, like in so much else that you guys would wish to RP, we can fast forward. The only thing that I would just point out before making your arrival there is it's just such a far distance that you would actually need to land and take a break, stopping at a little waterfall with a small lake.
I will dismount the dragon, stretch my back, hear it crackle and pop, walk over to the lake and look at my reflection in the water.
Well, with the little chubby cheeks, you just see this slight stubble. You haven't grown any hair back, definitely not in this amount of time, which this should be of no
No.
surprise to you. But it's not like bare face, just using a dagger.
Refill my water skin while I'm there.
And as each of you are kind of just stretching about, I think it's worth noting, while not in a cold environment as you once were, and it being, 3 suns, you find it nice, warm. It's pretty comfortable. Just gonna move you each back. Move everyone back to the world map. Now all you should just see is like the outline.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing here?
Just taking a quick rest. We've covered quite a bit of distance. And as Dunduus looks up towards the suns, each of you will notice that while making your way west, the 3 suns haven't changed position. They seem to almost be locked in place and growing a bit larger in size as you get closer, and also raising towards what seems to be midday. Those suns never set. They keep this side of the world warm at all times. Those who wish it to be cool or dark, they lie on the other side of the world.
Hmm. Do you know much about that place called the Underdark?
I know tales. Why?
We discovered an entrance to it, but we never went in. Just kind of reminded me of it when you mentioned the place of cool and dark.
Yeah, the Underdark's no place for a topsider.
Just the sheer name reminded me. No actual connection. Never been there, wouldn't know.
My people have had interactions with some of the denizens. Most of them aren't very friendly.
I don't really think any drow is good.
Some
They're
of
all
Not
your
just
just
drow.
some of your kind dwells down there, dwarf. Well, not the same, driven mad in hopes of
If
treasure.
you're not my kind,
Well,
I'll spit on the ground.
related to a sense, if you will.
Cursed.
But each has its place in the world, just as we have our place here. Each of you at this point noting the mountains growing quite a bit larger as you're making your approach, but still quite far away. No, from just like a sense of time and feeling, it's been about 6 hours of flying. And from the looks of it, at least another 6 hours to get there. But if each of you are ready, let's carry on.
Hey,
So, after taking just a brief break, about 10-15 minutes, each of you load back up and then begin to make your way once more.
I'm gonna look around and see if we spot any other dragons or flying creatures or whatnot.
Oh yes, and it's quite like easy to notice. There are hundreds around, probably getting close near to the thousands from what you're counting. You seem to lose a bit of track as you're making your way through, looking about. But there are bits of the same kind of creatures here. You hear birds chirping as you made your way about, and just what you would feel to be natural wildlife in the area still. Your passive is just so high. The DC that I have for it, I don't have anything hidden.
There you go.
But as the suns rise into the sky, as it seems to almost make its way perfectly to midday, you grow ever closer to the mountainside, beginning to see these stone-like structures, these buildings carved into the face of the mountain as it makes its way up, representing what's most close to each of your knowledge as a palace, a castle of sorts, as it makes its way up, continuing up the cliffside, up into the clouds. At this point, can each of you give me a perception check?
Sure.
Sure. If I can remember to open my darn character
Rixian,
sheet.
yours will still, unfortunately, be at disadvantage. But at this point, you're able to, pick up a bit more detail than, like I said, just the outlines. Ooh. Maybe this is what you needed. To be like Daredevil, and then
To finally have good rolls.
you'll have good rolls for perception.
That's how Daredevil sees he gets nats 20s on all his perception checks.
Yep.
So, each of you rolling quite well. Be quite a bit of detail to give you. So as each of you make your way towards the mountain facing, you can see this castle-like structure carved into the sides. These buildings, each of you notice, Rixian, it's a little bit more difficult for you to tell exactly what it is, but with the different shades and just like the text, you just know that it's a more decorative thing. But Kroot and Raven, each of you realizing that the outlines of the building-like structures to be encrusted with gems, diamonds, jewels, and all sorts of different types of treasure. You all see dragons, dragonborns, and all sorts of other dragonkin making their way through this city-like area. This carving into the mountain 3 times the size of any city that you have been into while making your way through Elista. But as Dwenduis begins to make his ascent, climbing up, each of you begin to break through the clouds and seeing the top of the mountain. Atop the mountain lies what appears to be a rainforest. These clouds swirling about in a circular manner as you see bits of rain, snow, and hail falling just above the tree lines, the canopy. In the center, you see a clearing. Well, that's where we'll be landing. This is where you'll be speaking to Verve, the crystal one.
What can you tell us about Verve?
Wise, the oldest of our kind, will hold the best judgment for what each of you deserve. He knows that you've passed the trial and will hear your claims.
Cool, he sounds like someone I can get a
I
beer
was
with.
not even close on the spelling.
Yeah, me neither.
I just like make shit up.
I had like verve, like verve, like Spanish, like verve.
I was one letter off. Damn it.
See, me and Rixie, I think, kind of alike.
Yeah.
As you make your way towards the clearing, you will see that there are these very odd placed mounds, seeming out of place to each of you. Dunduus will land, crouch down, and then say, "Well, here is where I leave each of you. In my eyes, and in the eyes of the others that seen what you've done, well, you're at least somewhat equal to us in one way or another." And with a bit of a symbolic nod, closing his eyes, giving like almost a bit of a respectful bow to each of you before he begins to part ways, flying up and then back down, disappearing from sight through the clouds.
Glad that some dragons are reasonable.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty darn cool if we could fly like that.
I don't think I'll ever forgive that blue one. Oh god,
They were just doing their job.
what if I forget color? The only reds and blues I can think of are those dragons, and it's pretty annoying.
The blue and red are why each of you live. As each of you look around, seeing nothing, only hearing the voice echoing through the clearing.
Oh, is he still here? I didn't see him.
No. Voice came from somewhere.
I'm
Yeah.
right here. And each of you then will begin to just hear a as you see this plume of dust from the dirt below begin to just scatter amongst the floor, then slowly rippling and revealing itself, you will begin to see Verve, the crystalled one. Standing before you, you see the scales of this dragon, pearlescent in color. The edges are made of a fine crystal, flickering various colors and shimmers of light. You can see reflections of every color, except for you, Rixian. Just as a reminder.
I'm glad you're reminding me. I forget I was blind sometimes.
I'll stop it, but in a little while. But it's fun for now. But as each of you notice this, just shimmering dragon appearing in front of you, looking at you, bending down, getting inches from each of your faces. You see these vertical slits of the pupil in the eyes, the irises, various colors, matching that of the scales and the gems that encrust the edges. So, you're the three that made it through.
Give him a slight bow.
I don't
Greetings.
see what makes each of you so special on the outside. But from what you've done, it's what you contain individually within that matters.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty determined and stubborn. But we had to be the ones to do it out of everyone.
We want to save the world from the one who
There's
wants
so-
to bring back Prince Chula.
There's something bigger than all of us going on.
Do you know this Estelar?
I have heard.
Oh,
what he sets out for, well, will not be done or completed.
yes, he's trying to end the world by collecting all of the shards of the Halo, or the remains, as they're called, and another thing was resurrecting that Prince Chula.
He probably needs both to do that. And
From what we've heard, Prince Chula was a pretty terrible person.
There's only one way to bring back the dead prince.
How is
And
that?
this is not the way. The only thing that this will do is just bring darkness for each one of you.
Well, we were trying to stop him.
we don't really need all the pieces. We just need to stop all the terrible shit that's happening. And I assume that once we have all the pieces, the portals from different dimensions will close and everything is stable again. Isn't that right?
If you're able to do so fast enough. But time is ticking. And, well, I must say my kind have grown quite fond of stretching their wings out in the cold while still being in the sun.
Was your world in darkness?
Not all of it, just the other side.
Was it also not cold there?
It is, but why not have the best of both?
Agreed.
And some have even found great, well, desires, if you will, to stretch their wings even farther, making homes quite more of a distance away. I've been told you've met that wretched silvered one.
Ah, yes, the one who possessed our dear friend Mogan.
A
Kind of
hellish,
sad what happened to him.
a hellish one indeed.
Hmm. Greedy. Yes.
He didn't give us the best of impressions.
Surprised he didn't try to kill us. I feel like he was close to it, but we kind of
In
talked our
fact,
way out of it.
there's a dragon that's trying to harass my hometown by relentlessly taxing it and adding it to its gold pile.
That's the one we're talking about.
The one and the same.
Yes.
Right, that's the one. And if he could stop all that, that would be amazing. We one less thing to worry about other than Alistar. Sorry, I'm
Estelar.
Estelar.
Degalar. Whatever we want to call him.
Yeah. So Astelar is in the middle of just summoning darkness, and a silver is taxing my home under the threat of just being burned down, and my sister is well below in the deep sea with the Tritons, and I don't know. That's a lot for 3 people to handle on their own.
What is it that each of you want?
We want things to be set right again.
We'll have to stop Estelar and to prevent Prince Chula from being resurrected.
No doomsday, no darkness,
To end
and
Estelar.
no world ending.
Yes. We want this world to continue existing.
And what is it that I can provide? Dwarf, you've been quiet. What are you pondering?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. I was just wondering if my beard was gonna grow back.
It will stay as it is for the rest of your days.
Worthy sacrifice to save the world. Yes, to stop Estelar. That's what I want.
I think Groot just died a little inside. I'm sorry. like,
Estelar is on the other end of this tethered crown thing. And if we fall to where he is, then surely the might of all the dragons will finally bring him down. As long as innocent lives aren't brought into it. If he stops what he's doing, and the dragons take care of it, well, then I guess we're all just better off, aren't we?
Being met with a moment of silence, he'll say, I cannot simply just fix your issues for you.
you offering us power or something to stop him?
That is what I feel may be adequate. And then he will begin to pull a force into the back of his throat, and then begin to exhale a quite fierce wind. This gust brushes your hair back. Feels really good on your face now that it's shaved, Groot. This is what have you been missing for all these years? This is a phenomenal feeling. But as he does, the mounds will begin to dissipate, and slowly they will begin to reveal a skeletal remains of a dragon. Each of you, standing at the center, being surrounded, you will notice that this dragon is 4 or 5 times larger than any that you had seen previously. This one making its way through nearly 500 feet in length.
I can only see a giant foot. What's happening?
This is the first, the father of our kind. Each of you standing at the foot will have quite large talons that are fairly close to each of you. Nearly half the size of Kroot for the smallest one, some exceeding his height and width. Then he'll say, 1 talon should be sufficient. Break it away and do as you will with it. Will hold power, any that you could possibly imagine.
So you're saying this 1 talon has enough to bring down this
Excuse me.
god complex resurrector shithead?
Once broken down into whatever it is that you wish to wield or wear, then yes.
All right. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that does seem pretty good. Um,
Want to give me a hand here, Raven?
Sure.
I'm curious though, if you wear it as armor, what can it withstand?
Should be able to hold back tremendous amounts of pain in various ways. As you and Raven both grab one of the claws from the talon, you'll just be able to it right out. It's way too heavy for you to carry, but you're able to remove it quite easily. Now, mechanically speaking, now that you have this dragon bone material, each of you will be able to craft an item, use or items, I guess is a better way to put it, using up its just like its material amount, not going off of weight, but what this will do is give each of you the capability of creating a magic item, weapon, or armor of your choice. So, if there's something in the book that you like, or if there's something that you've been thinking of, or whatever the case may be, now's the time.
Where are we allowed to pick from in the book?
Magic items.
Like what tables? Like
Any
table?
Any of them. Like,
Oh,
now there's going to be some restrictions, like, of course, just to
Okay.
throw it out there for an example, like, you're not going to be able to, like, make a sword and have, like, wish on it, or something that's
Okay.
game-changing, for an example. That's why, of course, I kind of wanted you guys to have a couple of moments to ponder on it, and,
Mhm.
maybe even discuss with one another ways to potentially combine the powers, make it more than useful. So at this point, I'll just kind of give you a moment to think about it.
Oh, jeez. I would almost ask if we could like think about this until the next session, like if that's okay, because this is gonna take a minute.
Well, that's why I was saying, like, I don't mind, like, sitting and answering questions, like, if there's stuff to, like, go
Okay.
over, but I didn't want to just, like, let you guys know, like, hey, tonight when we get into the session, I'm gonna
Sure.
be doing this, and then kind of, like, ruin some surprises.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
because
my
of,
question is, will it make boots?
Yep.
A certain pair of boots that I'd like.
That's a good point. Are you thinking boots of flying or some shit?
No, I can already fly. I'm thinking of boots of haste.
I mean, again, I would be more than open to that. Um, I'm going to just look it up so I more than like can confirm, but with that, I don't see any issue whatsoever.
Description. Excuse me.
There's some pretty out there magic items, so just take your time. But I recommend,
I would ask just the dragon if, because I have no one else to really go to for this kind of information, and assuming you all are super powerful and are able to help us a lot, I I would like to know how I can get to Azuna without collapsing my lungs.
Which way would you? Oh, well, that's easy. Ozuna is protected by cavernous walls, giving it an air bubble below. Protected by a few spells, keeping the water out. Getting a bit of a dome in an appearance. You find yourself almost at the surface when walking the streets.
So, in other words, if I had infinite oxygen, I could swim towards it and be okay.
Yes, and once there, you'll be able to breathe air once more.
And I don't have to worry about water pressure.
He'll shake his head. No, you will not.
That means the world to me. Oh my god, I finally got an answer. And he just sits down, just holding his face. Oh,
Yeah, Kurt, that's fine.
finally. I'm
Okay,
coming.
cool.
Now, it doesn't have to be your final answer, but that I'm totally good with. But like I was saying, like, things where, like if you were like, I want Boots of Wish, like I was saying, like then we might have to pull it
No.
back a little bit. But yeah, that's totally good.
Like, are you talking like Staff of the Magi? Is that allowed? Like,
Again, I'm just gonna have to like look it up because I don't obviously remember every magic
I think
item.
that's legendary.
did did you say no legendaries, or did you say specifically no wish?
Well, I was just giving in like examples, but
Yeah,
like I don't know. Like I was saying, I don't know like every
yeah,
thing, so I would just have to like look at it and
yeah. That's like one of
determine.
the penultimate like wizard staff, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like the best thing a wizard can get in the game.
Because if that's the case, I'd take the axe of the dwarvish lords.
uh,
Or like a belt of cloud giant strength, or a cloak of invisibility.
Yeah, I'd be cool with like this staff. I would just personally like tone down some of the charges, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know exactly what I would do off the top of my head, but I mean this is pretty fine. Like there's nothing in there for like the spells wise that is um like crazy in my opinion.
so it's just one item that we're getting?
Mhm.
Each?
Each.
Okay.
Now again, this like that doesn't have to be like the final choice, but I'm definitely like okay with like that. They would just be tweaked a bit. And like Kroot, what was the one that you were saying? The
I'd
axe.
rather have the boots. But I'm just saying, yeah, that axe is pretty cool, but I'd rather have the boots.
Okay, like I said, no rush on it whatsoever because there are a shitload of things to go through, and not to just mention or add on if there was something in particular or maybe a slight homebrew style that you may have been thinking of. So
Yeah.
but what we'll do is just add on this just so it makes things slightly more clear for each of you. Well, when each of you decide what it is that you wish, I will imbue the bone with that power. Craft it within the palm of my hand. And then it will be yours.
That's amazing.
think I know what I want.
God, a wand of polymorph would be sick too. It's got 7 charges. Takes 1 charge to cast polymorph.
I have a question.
Yeah. That's like, this can get dumb real quick. Like,
Oh yeah, like I said, like you guys definitely
yeah,
have like some good choices that are
yeah,
available, but like depending on what it is, like it might
yeah,
get toned down a bit or whatnot.
sure.
Uh, that doesn't seem right. I don't think it counts, but I'll PM it to you.
Okay. On Discord or
Yeah.
no, and not from my understanding. I don't think it means what you think it means, and what you have right now is kind of better, anyways.
That's what I thought. But everything else that comes with it,
I would just think detail, but that's kind of it.
yeah. I'll keep looking.
Any other questions or things that you guys may be thinking of that I can potentially answer?
I'm just kind of looking through the options because
There's so many
many.
to.
Yeah, the book is.
I know
thick
that's why
with 2
I was
Cs.
saying like I kind of wanted to tell you guys beforehand because I knew it was gonna definitely like put a little bit of like the brakes on for like
Right.
story wise, but I mean, who likes to ruin surprises?
No, I got you. I kind of wish we did it at the
Yeah.
end of last session though, so we would have the week to think about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
probably
it is
could
what
have
it
went a little
is.
long last week. That maybe have been a better
Yeah.
idea. In
And
hindsight.
I mean, and again, in hindsight, you're right. There's no way we would have realized that would, and you
Right.
probably came up with this idea over the week, anyways. So. Staff of Healing is not a bad idea. That's only a rare item, but
Ooh, what are those books called that if you read them it increases your stats by 2,
it's a tome of whatever stat, like a tome of.
and they can go over 20? Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's on
Monitor
table
fell over.
H. Oh,
Your monitor fell over.
shit, dude.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's on table H at the bottom. It's the tome of whatever, like tome of understanding, tome of leadership.
I'm on D&D Beyond, so.
Yeah, me too. If you go to like where it's the magic items A to Z, go to like the tab above that, and you'll actually have the tables.
Yeah, I'm looking under wondrous items right now.
Okay, and you got to go like before the actual pictures. I'm looking at like just the text tables. But
Choose
yeah.
a tome for wisdom. Tome of insight.
It's tome of understanding is with the wisdom one.
Just after looking it over a bit more, Raven, for the staff, I definitely would knock down the charges. Probably not like too much. Somewhere I'm thinking in like the 30 to 40 ballpark range. Keep practically everything else. Because limiting it on the charges is like, what makes it not as good. But with that, Like, after reading through it, like, I don't really think I'd really want to change anything else besides that, just like knocking it down a little bit, but maybe even just like 5 to 10. I'd have to like kind of think about it a little bit more, but everything else on it I feel like is really well balanced.
Mm-hmm. Like there's not like there's definitely high level spells on there, and most of them are like higher levels of the like it's like for
Yeah.
instance Fireball's level 5, but like there's nothing like super crazy on it. Like there's no wish on it, you know,
Yeah,
obviously.
well, I
Like,
mean, Fireball's level 7, but
okay, that's right. Yeah,
that's why
same
I'm
thing with
saying,
Lightning
like, if
Bolt.
you
Yeah.
take off like 5 to 10 charges, then you're basically taking away the usage of like 1 to 2 of those kind of thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if you do
So,
more than 5, that's kind of well, actually, yeah. If you even taking 5, pretty much takes off 2 spells
well,
because most of them are
in
7
total
charges.
casting.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, because I'm trying to think. Like, if you do 7-point spells, that's 6 spells is 42 points or charges. So
I'm still looking. I don't see anything that I would take other than what I found. But for
yeah,
now,
you can pretty much suicide with it too if you want. If you use that other ability, I would never want to use that, but the part where you break the retributive strike at the bottom, in case you didn't read that, where you snap it over your knee.
I mean, I had some good ideas to like for stuff to give you guys, but I don't want to make you guys feel like it's forced. Like,
I
I
mean, if you want
honestly
to,
thought Groot would take like something that was more of a weapon. But then
Well, I'm still
again,
gonna think about it. You know.
yeah, but then I was gonna say, then again, he has been focusing a lot on heals, so he might, take something else. And I felt like if I offered something too, that would, I don't want to steer you guys in a different direction. But if you guys would like, there are a few options of what that I can think of. These can just be mysterious items that are crafted for each of you, and once like you all decide exactly what you want, then we can add it to the inventory. The downside of this idea, obviously, if there's any encounters through until you come up with like an idea, either through the rest of tonight's session to next week, then you won't have that item to use. Option B, we move on until we get to an encounter and then call it. Or option C, we just call it here. But I'd rather just move on until we get to an encounter. I think that's the best option.
I say we move on.
I made my decision. I'm just looking over while there's still time, just in case.
Alternatively, there's another sword, but I'd have to ask you if you could make a caveat for me since I use rapiers specifically.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah, the Vorpal sword. But
Ooh.
it specifically says a slashing sword, but if you'd be cool with a piercing version of it.
That's a very powerful weapon.
Yes, it is. It's also on table I.
A creature is immune to this effect if it is immune to slashing damage, doesn't have a need for a head, has legendary actions, or the DM decides that the creature is too big for its head to be cut off. Such a creature instead takes 6d8 on the hit.
On top of the normal double crit damage, I'm assuming.
What is this sword loaded with? A cannon? Like,
It's like this and like the Holy Avenger are like the two pretty damn powerful swords in the game. And then there's also the other one, this sort of what's it called? This sort of
I'd be fine with like everything on there.
Mhm.
I would probably just knock down maybe 1 to 2 damage dice, maybe just one. 68. That's like a like a 6th level spell on every hit.
Well, again, that's if it's like, you know, something too big to cut the head off, like a giant, you know.
Yeah, but I mean that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is.
So overall,
Well, and again, the downside is I can't use my booming blade if I want an extra attack with it, you know. So like
the maybe not even like reduce the damage, but just give it charges.
Charges for what? Because again, this is only when you crit.
True. Yeah. That's a good point. I would just leave it then.
And then the other one that's not quite as good as that one, but still pretty good, is the Sword of Sharpness, if somebody was looking for something similar. It's another slashing sword one that's... You lop off limbs. The Vorpal Blade is specifically a decapitator, but the crit damage is also lessened on the Sword of Sharpness, but it's also a tier lower.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with either or. It is just on a crit. The downside of it is you have potentially 3 attack rolls. Or 3 chances on your attack roll, I should say.
With the Elven accuracy.
Mm-hmm. But you would have only gotten there if you've gotten this far in levels. So, you know, it's like a kind of maybe like a well-earned thing at that point too.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm kind of in between, I think, the staff and the Vorpal sword. I feel like there could be a really good utility item too outside of this that we're missing. There are so many magic items in the book.
I'm on D&D Beyond.
I will say though, I mean, nothing's gonna be a bad idea, right? I mean, unless you get like maybe like a sword, like a +1 sword.
Oh yeah, well I mean you should get a +3 sword at that point.
Well, it's not considered magical at that point in Elista.
Well, maybe this version is, you know, like this is, you know, I mean there's plenty of +3 swords in here that are magical. So
yeah, a cloak of billowing.
What does that do?
All it does is like it looks like it's flying in the wind. That's it. It billows out behind you.
Nice.
But not just billow out behind you, dramatically.
Yeah, dramatically. That's about it. That's all it does.
Yeah, I guess that would be kind of a waste.
So if I went with the staff, it would make me more of like a caster at range, kind of like Rixian. The sword would make me stay on the front lines.
Yeah, see, that's kind of why I wanted to have time to discuss it as well. Which I also thought would be something interesting to go over on on stream. Once you guys kind of like decide a few items, and discussing like the tactic about it too. So what would actually be more beneficial?
Right.
I made my decision.
Dick of many things.
A dick of many things?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That we killed Dickalar with it.
I'm almost tempted to just straight up take a belt of giant strength.
How would that work? Which Kyle rolls to see which giant?
Well, I mean, if there's specific belts, like you just say, like if you look at the different tables, like go to table I and you'll see a belt of storm giant strength. and it increases your strength to 29.
Would be good. I mean, if there's something that increases your wisdom up a lot there, Kroot, I'd Google that.
Or if there was something that like just gave you proficiency in all saves, like that would be huge.
Dwarven thrower would be nice.
Or even, I would almost even ask, is there a an alternative instead of getting an item to take like a feat?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. I assume not. I feel like a feat's less than any magic item is more valuable anyways. But
And the dwarven thrower is similar to Thor's hammer.
one of those, what's the? I know there's one where you have to have 3 items to make it work. Obviously, that wouldn't happen here, but there's it might have been the dwarven thrower.
And have on its own.
There's an item I remember. It's like you basically Thor. You have to have the belt, the giant strength, the hammer, and something else, and you get like a bonus effect.
Rixian, I'm just so you know, I'm reading over yours right now.
Okay.
You should get Ursat's eye. Ixion. Be able to see again.
Nah.
Pretty sure I know what you're asking for.
I like it,
That-
Rixian.
A crab thing that can go underwater.
See, the
Now-
underwater stuff doesn't really appeal to me because I'm already a sea sorcerer that can breathe underwater. So that's why I'm looking for lightning stuff.
Now, I'm going to just PM you the only alteration, but obviously
Okay.
a reason.
Oh, here's the item. It's the hammer of thunderbolts on table I. But you have to be wearing a belt of giant strength and the gauntlets of ogre power to wield it.
Yeah, I already
Ah.
saw that.
Yeah, that's the one. So it sucks because that's 3 attunement slots just to be able to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing.
I'm still looking. Wanted the boots of face because I thought I could cast another spell with the extra action, but I can't. I have to make an attack.
Yeah. So that hammer of thunderbolts, it increases your strength by 4. You know, it can go above 20, but not to up higher than 30. If you crit a giant when you're attacking a giant, it has to roll a DC 17 con save or just straight up die.
That's very specific, though.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, we don't really. I don't think we've fought giants. We've only fought like trolls.
And it's a maul, two-handed.
Then you can throw it or whatever for a charge or whatever. Yeah. But again, that you have to have 3 items for it to even work. It's just
Yeah.
Man, if we got a paladin, there's a
I
whole.
do like your idea, Rixian.
I think I'm confident there's nothing that can replace this one.
And that Vorpal sword would be a hell of like even better if I upgraded to the new Blade Singer format from Tasha's.
I might get a head of disguise so I can make it look like my beard's back.
Did we say we're definitely not doing the new Tasha rules that changed Blade Singer, or is that
I think for this one, we'll just keep it as is.
okay? Because that like totally changes my attack like mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a buff in that regard, but it would nerf
But
my blade singing.
if at this
ability.
point, with the amount of time of contemplating, if there's really nothing that any of you have fully landed on, we'll just move on until, like I said, there is a encounter or something where we need to stop, where these items may prove to be influential.
Okay,
I'm
that sounds good.
I know, Rixian, you're pretty set, but if you are, we can do yours now, of course.
Sure.
Okay. So, as um you have this moment of reckoning, this idea pops into your mind. How would you like to relay this um to the crystaled one?
I would say, as much respect as I have for dragons, the blue one in particular really irked me. He was able to catch up despite my entire bags of tricks. And honestly, out of everyone I've ever encountered, he was the one that gave me the most trouble. And he technically should have killed me. If I had some of his power, that would be amazing, really.
And then that's it will be. Taking off, cutting it with his talon, a piece of the bone that each of you had removed from this giant skeletal remains, will then clutch it in the claws. You'll see this bit of light emit from just the cracks in his claw, and as each of you hear a, the light will begin to diminish, and as it does, he will open up the claw and then place it down in front of you. Each of you, well, in front of you, Rixian, but each of you seeing a bone mask with a slight bluish tint, that representing the face of a dragon.
I pick it up. I can already feel. Yeah, this is what I want. I'm gonna have to attune to it at some point. And he'll just stare at the mask as much detail as he can glean off the outlines.
Do the rest of you know what you would like? And if you don't have a full-on answer, you can still agree at this time, like I was saying, the item be crafted, and then we'll be able to describe it at a little bit of a later date.
I'll be like, surprise me.
So
But you
I'm
think
thinking
it's
I'm
gonna bring
going
you
with.
close.
I got you. I think I'm going with the Vorpal, but it's going to technically be crafted because it's a rapier version, unless you want to just say it's a longsword that has finesse. I'm cool with that too.
What were you saying there, Crew? And Raven, that's fine.
Sorry.
I don't remember.
I missed the last part. I know you said surprised me, but was that because you haven't landed on an answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So, doing the same, Raven, you'll have the rapier crafted for you, made entirely of dragon bone. As it's placed down before you, you can see these etchings, these rune, intricate markings all over the bone. Kroot, the most fantastic thing you can ever think of is placed down in front of you. And we'll get into more detail when you land on your answer.
Nice.
Now, the last thing that I can do for each of you is send you in the right direction. What is it that you find fitting?
Um, Definitely not Zidane, that's for sure. But, huh. What are we planning to do after this? Does anyone remember?
Hmm.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Well,
Well, there is time. You may be able to cut off Estelar before obtaining another piece, or head directly to the Angel's Touch Lake to acquire the next.
I definitely want to make sure he gets no more remains. I'm not ready to fight him just yet, but if I can stop his goals, then that will help.
He does tread there with help, but you can be there before he arrives.
If he has help, then we need to get some help of our own. Not sure who to convince really. As powerful as this item is, I think numbers really matter. I need to know who's going to be valuable and who truly wants the same thing that we want.
During that pause, I'll snap my fingers and say, "Aha! I know what I want." Said, something to help me with my evasion skills. Maybe a ring of some type.
One to help you be more evasive.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, if that's what you want.
That'll help me big time. My dexterity rolls are usually really bad.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, let me add that to my inventory.
So, while the items crafted before you is a bone ring encrusted with this labyrinth of runic design. As you put it on, it, I mean, obviously needing a bit more time to become attuned, the rest of you will see Kroot nearly phase in and out of existence, but then at times multiply as well. Up to 2 or 3 of him
Ooh.
appear.
hmm, that's cool.
Need to take 5, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and just go ahead and take our break there. And then it'll give you each a moment to contemplate on exactly where you'll be going.
All right.
So,
Back in 5.
be back in just a few moments and see everyone shortly.
8.
And we're back. So, with each of your newly crafted items done straight from the claws of the crystalled one, crafting them quite hastily, Verve will then ask, "So, have each of you decided where your path will take you? Unfortunately, you cannot stay here."
I want to retrieve the last piece that he hasn't taken.
We know where that's at.
There are two currently not in his possession. One residing in a cellar in Laos. The other, the Angel's Touch Lake.
I thought there was only one remaining that he hadn't taken.
If whoever would like to volunteer for it would like to roll me a history check at advantage, I will give you a couple more answers.
Sorry,
Because
what was the name of that lake?
the Angel's Touch.
Do we know where that is on the map?
The Angel's Touch Lake is the one that was directly south of us, where
Indeed.
SLR is.
Okay.
Which is one of the things I was going to give you with the check, so, or one of the directions. I guess you could say.
Suck
So
at
we got-
history, so whoever does it, I'll give you guidance.
Groot is like, not me. I'll just help.
I suck at history. Better gonna roll?
Say,
All
what
right,
kind of
I'll
sorry?
pick. Raven, roll me a history check at advantage with guidance.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Where's my name history? There it is. If I can freaking hit the right button. I'll take it. 26.
Ooh, 26.
So first off, as Rixian had mentioned, the parts of the halo that you possess, pulling you in the southern direction from your map towards the Angel's Touch Lake, then now confirming that that is where one piece lies. The other, you'd remember Joanne saying just a little less than about a week ago, before her demise, she had mentioned it would take a couple weeks' time from that point before SLR made it to Laos to obtain the next piece.
Oh, I didn't realize it just hasn't been that time. For some reason, I thought. So, okay, so she must have known that he was going to the lake first? Or, I mean, maybe she didn't, but...
She had informed you that Estelar and one other would be going to Laos, while two others would be going to the lake. And the lake being closer, each of you feeling that that would be the piece to attempt to obtain first.
Oh fuck! There's gonna be a fight in both places either way.
Yeah.
Well, the Black
So-
Lake. They had gone to the Black Lake where you had found that
Oh,
dungeon. That's where they were going.
okay.
Currently, Estelar does not know where the final piece is. Now each of you do at the Angel's Touch Lake.
Okay. So if we're to stop him directly, we would go to Laos.
Okay, so he was in Black Lake thinking it was the place, but it was actually Angel's Touch Lake. Okay. So does he not know where either piece is then, right?
To just be clear, Raven, so you understand, he knew where the one at the Black Lake was. You all just beat him there.
Oh, okay.
But physically, he wasn't going there. He was going somewhere else. He was going to Laos. He
Right,
knows
yeah.
where the one in Laos is. The one that he doesn't know where it is, that each of you now know, is at the Angel's Touch Lake.
Okay. So Wait, are you saying, Rixian, you want to go where Estelar is going to be?
There's a
Assuming he's in line.
chance we could just get 2 remains and then we'll have an advantage. And there's also a chance that we'll beat Estelar there, depending on how our fellow majestic dragons take us there.
Hmm.
I might need a day to attune to this mask, but
I am able to just guide you. I will not take you there. How you arrive is on your own decision.
You take
okay.
it to Ravenshaw.
So we still need to somehow teleport or fly there.
I can make a teleportation circle then to Bluxmouth and then go south to Laels in that case.
So we're willing to fight Estelar here, though.
I'm willing to bet on the chance that we get both remains and most likely don't not have to fight him unless we're sure and we're ready.
Well, if he's there, he's probably going to attack us.
If he's there. But it's better to go there than to have no chance at getting both.
Yes.
Okay, out of character here. Where else did I set up word of recall location? Was it Bluxmouth?
Bluxmouth and Ravenshaw.
Ravenshaw. Okay, I remembered Ravenshaw.
I'm curious, though, with what was going on in Bluxmouth with our wanted posters, do you remember? That weren't
Yeah.
legitimate?
I think they were taken down.
Those apparently weren't originated from Bluxmouth, though. I'm curious how the other neighboring towns are. If they were distributed there. We've never been to Laels, right? So...
No, each of you have been avoiding Laels due to the war that... I mean, and that's my assumption anyways, but that's kind of been all that you've really known.
We didn't want to get into politics while we were saving the world, basically.
Yes.
And I would try to take any chances possible to prevent him from getting the remains, because that's what we're doing in the first place. We're not trying to take this power for ourselves. We're trying to make sure that he doesn't have them.
But
Yes.
you will have to remove his in time. Whenever that time is.
I vote that not aware of the one in Angel's Touch Lake. But we could go there without seeing him.
How
Well,
fast can we get there?
I think the other issue is if he tracks us there and shows up while we're trying to find it. Could also be bad.
If he's not in Laels, he could be technically closer to the other remains.
He doesn't know.
So either way,
Not aware of those. So how could it be close to him?
if he finds out where we are, he could potentially beat us there, wherever we're going.
Don't get your logic. We're not there. How could he beat us there?
I still don't know what he can do. He might even have a piece that allows him to see where we are or have this divination power. He put freaking visions in our heads. He's trying to mess with us all the time, and he's also really good at reverse psychology. So it's like, either way, they're both equally as important, and we might face Eslar in both places. Who knows?
This is true. We're
Yeah,
down
but
to
we'll
the
have a
last
head
few
start.
places.
Big head start with the lake one.
With Laels, we can presume he's already there, trying to find it.
That's where we last heard he was headed.
It would be a safe bet to go get that one right away.
So,
He's already got it.
in a
But we
sense,
can still get it later if he still doesn't know.
on the other hand, encountering him now might be not a bad idea if he's split from his group. We don't want to attack him when he has all of his allies. If he's by himself, or even with a partial group.
Could be just a
So,
ruse.
This
so it
could be
was
a good
like
opportunity.
it was 4 people, and 2 Eslar and one other person are going to Laels, right? Assuming, and then the other 2 are going to somewhere else. I'm pretty sure it was like Black Lake that we were assuming.
That is correct.
Right. So
I mean, we
we
either thin his herd going to the other lake, or we go to cut him off in Laels.
we can get both potentially. Going to Laels first. If we go to the lake now, then we'll have almost no chance to get the other one in Laels.
Days ago, he probably has the thing by now.
It's like a game of dodgeball. If he
What-
has it now, then we'll still have a chance to get the one in the lake.
Yeah, but then he'll follow us. Because right now, he won't know.
If he cares enough, he'll follow us anyway. We just don't let him know what we know, and we're fine.
I don't want to go to Laels.
While Rixian does speak some form of truth, whatever path you take, the remains will be needed to be combined to prevent the darkness from encasing Elista.
I don't want to give him a chance, is what I'm saying.
So I understand your reluctance to go to Laels, but if we have a chance of getting the piece before him, this is our only shot.
Yes, but like I stated earlier, he was already on his way to Laels. He already might have it. Whereas he
This
doesn't
is
even
true, and
know
we don't
about
know.
this other piece.
There's no way for us to know when we're here and not there.
If we find out that he has it, then we don't have to fight him at all. We can just go straight to the Angel Lake, like you said.
Be a waste of time.
I don't think so. We can still go to Laels and Angel's Lake whenever we want. But the time pressing issue is at Laels.
The lake one is not on a time clock. He doesn't know where it is.
Right.
So it'd be advantageous for us to get that one.
I'll be honest. I'm a gambling man. Either we get there first because we're awesome. Either we find it at the same time and we fight for it, which he has just himself and one other person, and we have amazing items. Or he gets there first and we get the other one, and then we fight later. All of them are good options to me. That's why I think Laels is more beneficial overall.
It seems I'm outvoted anyway. Let's go to Laels. I can get us to Blucksmouth.
Man, if Pandora was here, I wonder how that would turn out. Yeah, so
Just let me know when you guys are ready. Stand within 5 feet of me.
you said it was in a cellar. The remains is located within a cellar. Can you be more specific, or is that the best guidance you have right now? Not that I'm not grateful.
A
Is it in a
cellar
building?
of a tower.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
What about the lake? Do you know where the lake the one there is?
That's a good point.
That one is unclear. Hazy.
Maybe it's a swamp.
Yeah.
Murky
So-
water. Get it?
So you're getting us to Blucksmouth, and then we're going straight to Laos then.
Yeah, I can get us there.
All right, let's go.
Kurt secretly sets it up for the lake. Like,
I don't have a shrine there, so.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just.
Yeah, I was thinking about that if I had a shrine there at the lake. If we're ready, thank you, your greatness, for your help. These items will come in handy.
Yes, thank you very much. These are amazing.
I appreciate it.
This time I'll give him a big bow.
And with a respectful bow back, he will just respond with, "I very hope you find a way to find the peace in your world."
We're gonna. It's gonna use a lot, but if it requires all of humanity to do it, then that's what we're gonna do. And this is all that humanity has got, then I'm willing to just bet it all on us. See what happens.
Vader, help us.
We have a lot on our side. There's no way we lose.
Are we ready?
Yep.
I have everything, I believe. Let's go. Unless I'm.
Don't
Wait.
have to hold my hand, Rixian.
You guys didn't see that I dropped anything while I was blind, did you?
Oh,
Okay.
just your eyes, you know.
Oh yeah, because that's what happens to me. I just lose my eyes. Fuck off. All right, let's go.
Eyeball. And as soon as they step within 5 feet of me, I'll cast Word of Recall. Blucksmouth.
All right. So, how does this look, Kroot? This is the first time you've gotten to use it.
It's just like a whirlwind surrounds us. Then it like takes up off in the air, and then it disappears and reappears wherever they're going. Then it just dies down, and it's just us standing there.
So we just like helicopter Mario out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
All right.
bloop.
So, as you all helicopter out of there, soon you find the rainforest atop the mountain dissipating from sight as the orange and reddish sky blending together, creating almost that of fire, dissipates from sight. You then find yourselves at a shrine. Just before the Shrine of Vader, you all arrive back at Blucksmouth, noting that it is a bit cool in the temperature, but each of you still feeling amazing.
We beat him once during the remains in the Black Lake. We can beat him again in Laos, and then we'll nab the last piece. That's my mindset.
Agreed.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. But just in case we face him, let's attune to our items. Yeah?
Oh shit! Yeah, we need to do that. Good point.
I'm glad you remembered.
Fuck, man. Look,
So, I
I
don't
was about to
know.
just take off.
Are we able to do it on the road? I don't know if we can.
So it's just taking like a bit of time. It can be done on the road. You would just, have to dedicate some time for it.
I would assume it would be way too distracting.
Potentially.
and you could get interrupted while on the road.
Time of the
so-
day is it here?
While inside, you're unsure, but looking out of the windows, it is dark.
I think maybe we should just spend the night here. Maybe
Yeah.
find a tavern.
So
Call for early in the morning.
we just gotta focus until all of our items are enveloped within us, and any remains that you want to attune to as well. I have 2.
I know
I
I got the
have-
masks. The ones of the Ramir.
I have Nima and the Golden Father.
Which one? I have the Zahina. I've been attuned to that, so.
And I'm an idiot because I don't keep track of all the ones that we have in our possession, just the ones that I'm attuned to. So if there's anything left
Yeah, me too.
that's unattuned that we forgot about, that would be good to know.
The only one I believe that was never attuned to is the last one that was acquired.
Yeah, we haven't had time.
Does it take an extra day to attune to an extra thing?
Should take the same amount of time.
Yeah, I'd imagine it taking the same amount. I don't remember or recall reading anything in particular in like the DMG for attunement that states like otherwise.
So
But that is a
one
pretty
of
big
us-
book.
one of us should attune to our item, and this one I can't do it because I can only attune to 3 things at once.
Yeah, I
So-
don't have any. Can't attune to it either.
So it just has to be Raven then. Whatever it does.
All right, I've got.
You've got the masks and the mysterious thing that you're holding. And
My sword.
Oh yeah, it is a sword. Anyway. And then the last remains, right?
Here.
What is the name of the last remains? The
Oh,
ones that nobody's attuned to.
Of course I know. It's called one second.
Insert name piece here.
So yeah, I've got the.
Believe it was Mavara, the god of moon.
That sounds about right.
Yes.
Because I have that one marked with the Raven's Nest party as of June 8th, 1101.
Okay, that's the one that gives you the awesome cloak that prevents you from being frightened. That Pandora was going to use.
That was like 3 games ago, in my notes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's in my notes from 3 games ago. Like, I actually know which session it was. I just don't have the. I don't have the end game date. I have the real date.
Okay, so-
I'm terrible at getting the end game date.
So while wearing the cloak, it's a nice blanket. It can also be used as a cloak. That means you can't be frightened or put to sleep, and you can't be targeted by the dream spell. You can't be surprised. You can tolerate extreme temperatures. You gain +3 to passive perception,
Oh, nice.
and you can become invisible while using Misty Step.
What's this thing called?
Mavara.
Oh, that's the remains.
The
I thought you.
remains that no one's attuned to
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment.
Okay, yeah.
But as you each are kind of pondering this, like making your plan, still being just in front of the shrine, as each of you look around, you'll notice there's quite a bit of acolytes and priests just looking in your direction. None seem to be brave enough to interrupt, but all eyes are on you.
I'll wave one of the acolytes over in my direction. You there?
Yes, cleric.
You have any rooms handy for the night available?
Yes, of course.
Ow. Hold on, sorry. Then we should go straight there, yeah, and then we'll discuss some more.
We need 1 room, 3 rooms.
I mean, we're loaded. Just also, we need to concentrate on attunement, and I don't want any snoring to interrupt that.
Yes, I would prefer that Mavara as
Rooms
well.
it is.
If extra rooms are looking to be acquired, one for each, then might I suggest the guild?
Yeah, that's a lot more, makes a lot more sense actually. We could reconvene with her.
Right.
Xenia.
And I will put how much? I'll put 10 platinum pieces in the offering bowl as we leave.
Each of the acolytes and clerics or priests giving you very respective bows and signs of respect after placing the offering. May Vader look favorable upon you, cleric, and may the sun forever be at your back.
And yours as well.
But as each of you make your way through the city streets of Bluxmouth, with it being fairly late in the evening, you'll notice that there is a half moon above. At this point, Crute, can you give me a perception check at advantage? Rixian, yours normal at disadvantage, of course. Raven, yours just regular.
Even with the
Good
mask?
old
Okay.
trifecta.
So that my mask doesn't change. Alright. So normal. Oh, I gotta turn guidance off.
Ooh.
Oh, even without advantage, I still did good.
Yeah.
So, Rixian, well, all three of you will notice some constellations, or a constellation in the sky of the stars. It has a very odd shape to each of you. Begin flickering. Kurt, you would recognize this as the vision you had when being unconscious, or how it was explained to you, briefly dead. The constellation of Vader above seems to be flickering, diminishing from the sky.
Would I know what that means?
From give me a religious check at advantage. Or religion check.
Okay. Look at these. Just a second. I'm lagging a little bit.
So, it would remind you, of course, of when being knocked unconscious and when Vader was communicating with you. As the stars were synchronizing with his voice, but these not growing back as bright, you would instinctually know that there is definitely something wrong. While not being able to quite put your thumb on it, the sentence comes back to mind. Why haven't you come for me yet?
Okay.
So, that is the best I can give you with the roll, man. I mean, you would just have like I said, like an instinctual feeling of it not necessarily meaning the best of things. But with each of you continuing on, you would know, then make it to the guild hall, the Violet Jaguar Guild Hall. And with the doors closed, you hear each of your mounts making some sound from within the stables outside.
Ah, they must smell us. Or hear us.
Yeah, let's go say hi.
Of course. Oh no,
Crew,
what are we
can
gonna
you hear
do?
us or able to communicate, or you on your phone? Not sure what that means. Ran out of juice. Oh, okay, he's on mute now.
You gotta plug in.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
My
little...
laptop just ran out of juice.
Okay. Do you need to just plug it in, or...
It is plugged in.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's been doing this lately. I think I need to buy a new battery.
You might need to put your Discord on speakerphone. It sounds like you're far away, like you're talking on the phone with it away from you. There's like
I
a
am
little
on the
button.
phone.
No. There's a speakerphone button on your phone on Discord. It sounds like you're far away. Is that like it sounds like you're talking with it away from your face?
You can hear us, right, bud?
Yeah, I'm holding the phone up to my ear right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's never run out this quick. I usually have like 30% by the end of the session.
Use them Biden bucks and get your new computer.
Definitely sounds like your battery is fading.
Yeah, well, I've had this laptop like 5 or 6 years, so.
Well, we'll just do this, and then we'll end up, I guess, calling tonight's session a little bit early.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
No reason to apologize. Your computer is old. You live on a budget. You have a family to take care of with that budget. No reason to be sorry. But we'll take care of this just real quick. As each of you make your way into the stables, you see Mutton, the horses, and of course Sir Fluffybutt as well. All still equipped with food and some nice soft areas to rest inside the stable.
What are we gonna do with Sir Fluffybutt? I mean, I don't think we would put him back in the wild, would we?
I mean,
Someone want to tame him?
there's really one other person in the world who could tame someone like that.
Oh,
I think he should just be free. I don't know of anyone else.
maybe Pandora's sister?
I mean, that's a good point, but
I don't know if she'd
that
be able
means
to handle a direwolf, though.
we would have to tame it on the way all the way over to Ravenshaw.
And I'm not saying Pandora was able to manage. I don't know if we would say he's tame already, but would he even listen to us? I don't know.
What if Pandora comes back for him?
Well, the last time we left them here, he became skin and bones. I think Pandora would prefer us to release him into the wild than to let him just die of hunger.
She's not going to get here fast enough anyway.
I mean, we could just pay for him to stay here for quite a while longer, but last time they didn't feed him, even when we paid.
I don't think he would like to be here any longer.
Just by the way, that was at Ravenshaw.
What was?
Does he look healthy here?
I know you don't remember that, but just so there's no mix-up. What was your question, Groot?
Does he look healthy here?
Yeah, he looks good. You all haven't been away from here for too long either, but there's still food and other things for each of the mounts. They all seem to be fairly well taken care of.
I don't think Pandora's coming back for him because I'm pretty sure Pandora has no memories of the adventure we went on.
That's true. That's a good point.
I don't
Supposed to be
want,
able to communicate with him.
if he's no longer tamed, then in my eyes, or my, I gotta stop saying that. By all recollection, he is free. No longer tamed.
That took me a second to catch that.
We should let
The way I see, I mean,
In my
Oh,
eyes, that no longer exist. Oh
We can
man,
take him with us on the way to Laos and just set him free out in the wild.
that's probably a good point.
Yeah.
There's some forest nearby.
Yeah, can't just set him free in the city.
Honestly, I
it'd be
think
pretty funny.
he'd probably prefer the wild anyways. He's a dire wolf.
Yeah.
So, are we taking our mounts to Laos? I mean, it would get us there
Good.
faster.
We travel faster.
Yeah, if we all have our mounts, then by all means we should take them. But again, we have to rest here.
Yes, so rest the night and come back to our mounts in the morning.
Yep.
All right.
We'll bring the dire wolf just to set him free, and then that's after we attune to our stuff and everything that we need. So
I don't even think any of us can communicate with him. I think I don't know if he might be kind of confused.
yeah,
This is going to be hard to. Could I maybe discern that Pandora was able to communicate with Sir Fluffy Butt?
I mean, at least to some extent, with the amount of, I guess, pushback is a decent way to put it, that Sir Fluffy Butt had given practically anyone else that had interacted with him. I mean, they seem to have some connection.
Maybe he'll understand enough. That I mean, I don't think he's going to be happy that Pandora is gone, but I mean, I don't think he would want to stay here unless he thinks that he's just going to wait for her to come back. Is this going to be a Futurama episode? The dog waiting?
we're not keeping that dog waiting.
Yeah.
He's not going to be kept in captivity. He's a wolf. He should be out there.
With that, each of you will hear a bit of pawing and whining at the stable door.
Type.
Groot, you'll hear the headbutt from Mutton hit against the wall, with you just on the other side.
I'll toss him a couple of apples over the stable door.
Crunch, crunch.
Well,
Same.
Good morning, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone wants to pet the wolf, now's your chance.
I'm not very good with animals. I don't want to get bitten.
Wolves. Like my hand said.
Well, then I guess none of us are petting it because I didn't want to either. I was just putting that out there. Good night, guys.
All right, so
Walking toward the guild.
as each of you make your way into the Violet Jaguar Guild Hall, seeing Yaren, also seeing Captain Sinyo, and some of the other familiar faces of the guild, you each make your way 2 rooms that you had while previously here. And as we were saying, unfortunately, with Kroot's laptop dying, I think this is a good place to call it. So at this point, like, if it's still, I guess, fairly early enough in the evening, if there's anything that you would like to talk to for the guild leader here or anybody else, the options are on the table. But if not, then each of you can just take care of attunement and moving on to the next day.
Yeah.
While I'm in my room, I take like a pitcher of water and I sit down on the hard floor and just go, I want to see if I can still visualize this as much as I can anyway. And he'll use shape water to like float it out in front of him and try to make it into like the shape of a seashell. And then he'll just hold that and meditate for a bit until he feels satisfied, and then he'll just very carefully put it back into the pitcher of water. And then he'll get right on to attunement.
Anybody else have anything?
No, I'll just attune to my ring.
I'm tuning to the sword, and then I'll also attune to that other remains, the Mavara. If nobody else, I think it would be beneficial if I'm being upfront, because of the being immune to fear is pretty damn useful.
Yeah.
With what happened with the dragons before, that crippled us. Especially me, because I'm hack and slash. So.
All right. Well, even though there was a shorter session tonight, there was a lot accomplished and finished out. You had each obtained new items along with powers to be able to complete your quest and stopping Estelar from gathering all the pieces and causing darkness forever to reign over Elista. So, with that and the amazing recap along with the RP, each of you will bring in a total of 1,063 experience apiece, which will bring everyone just above into level 13 at 120,092 experience.
Heck yeah.
So,
Somebody take a note of that for me.
Yeah, I've got it in D&D Beyond, so we'll have it, yeah.
I got you as well. I mean, he's pretty much, yeah, waterbender. I would say so,
Yeah.
Lynx. But with that in mind, at least this will give you all a bit of time to contemplate exactly what you have set forth for yourselves. As we move on into June 16th, each of you will, of course, get your long rest with obtaining your level. If, of course, there's no other RP you want to take care of beforehand. But then also, like I was saying, contemplating moving into Lails, hopefully with the war that you know going on there to, well, have a way in for one. 2, beating Estelar there. And 3, obtaining the peace if possible, if you are able to beat him there. So it'll give each of you a bit to contemplate and plan out for next week as we continue our story.
Since we leveled up, is there? You don't impose like multi-class restrictions, right?
Unless like the class or something that you're going with is like a Unearthed Arcana or Homebrew kind of thing, then not really. But of course,
Well,
discussing it
I mean,
is always recommended.
Not like the class in specific, but to get to add another class, for instance, because I don't have enough wisdom, I can't really be a cleric. But I
Correct. If you don't meet the requirements, then.
Yeah.
really.
Well, I decided not to multi-class.
Well, I just need one more point in wisdom, so I feel sad.
Hmm. Did you take it when you got that extra point from the second trial?
It bumped me up from 11 to 12.
Hmm. Just still not enough.
Yeah, I really want that max lightning damage, but I don't think I'm gonna get it.
I'm sorry, buddy.
All right, guys. As
But
soon as my laptop charges up, I'll get on and change some stuff on my character.
word. Well,
Good game
again,
tonight.
apologize for a shorter session tonight, for the viewers, but at least we'll give the party a bit of time to think about all the stuff set forth. So with that in mind, if you haven't already, please do drop the stream a follow and make sure the notifications is on for when we go live. Other than that, I'm glad each of you had fun tonight and look forward to next week. See y'all then.